This is Stevie and Hannah
yeah.
doing our little chitty chat thing, and yours is about nuclear waste. And I thought it was really interesting. I thought the framing that you did at the beginning was really nice because I haven't heard really anything about this, and so I was a little nervous when I saw it. I was like, I feel like this is all going to be over my head, and I'm just going to be trying to formulate opinions out of the blue. I thought the introduction of the Montadon, is that how you say it, do you think?
I don't
Okay,
know.
Montadon statement, like, that was good because it just kind of, you start with the broad picture and it just focuses you in right to where you want us to be. The history I thought was put in there. I didn't feel like it was a history lesson, but it was enough information. There was one comment that you made, like the political. So I have the political.
Was it about
Like it's a major part.
Like the debate about being about politics, and instead it should be about scientific discourse?
Yeah, I thought that was interesting, like an interesting way to view it, and like to pull that from the article, like to pull the science out of the article, which I think doesn't usually happen. Like when somebody looks at an article, you usually go political because that's sometimes more feelings based.
I mean,
than
it was a politician,
right? And then I also like that although this is a political commonplace, it can make the reader feel like the politician is concerned with public good. I thought that was like it was a little more playful, like a little bit dismissive of the thing,
Oh, yeah.
and so like it gives it a little bit.
There are a few attacks on that.
Yeah, and I mean it's like it's good because it has the spin that you need to make it an interesting thing. I think there could be more voice like that. Like you could do more of that, and I think it wouldn't feel like, okay, now it's just a big joke. Like I don't think you would be writing the line of, okay, now Stevie's just making jokes every time. So this is the Montadon Michael. That's him, right?
Yeah.
Where did you find the thorn thing?
Thorn. Oh, that's I found that for the last essay. It was this academic journal about it was just like whether the viability of the Yucca Mountain site is for nuclear waste repository.
Okay, was that scientific too?
Yeah.
Okay, I like that too. I like the fact that it was brought in as a scientific backup as opposed to an opinion piece.
Yeah.
It's like more of a, will this actually work or will this not work? The synthesis I thought was good. I didn't see like a lot of rhetoric, like you mentioning the rhetoric, but when you did, it seemed accurate. So I don't know if that would be just a personal preference. Like,
So
more. I think more it's like synthesis of it, because I don't know. I don't like criticizing people. I thought this was really good.
It's fine. You can criticize me all you want.
Yeah, it's definitely not a personal thing, but like there was there was a paragraph where it was about what he was talking about, and then there was a paragraph about how he talked about it, and I don't know if I would like quotes, not necessarily when you're explaining what he said, but when you're synthesizing it, if you could just bring in more quotes, more actual things. I'm like a word person, and I like
yeah.
This is the word or this is the sentence that he used it in. I think that would. Just like you were talking about how he brings in facts, like if you bring in facts too, then I think it would.
Yeah. Okay.
It would be really strong.
I will do that.
And then the whole next essay I think is about synthesizing.
Yeah, I've never really looked at
Yeah, but that was like the thing that I got when she was talking about it in class was that it was a synthesis of not just like what you know or what they've told you, but like what that means from your perspective as opposed to what that means from someone else's perspective. Kind of, she wants you to like come up with a different idea for it, and so I think if you are going to come up with a different idea, definitely have quotes in there. Yeah, I thought it was really solid. I wasn't bored.
Thank you.
So that was good, and it was informative, which I think is the purpose of this, is not to be like over someone's head. Okay, so now it's your turn.
All right, so I don't know how good my or whatever you want to call it of your essay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll pick it apart. Okay, so
Sorry.
like the visual at the beginning. It's not. I like visuals. Okay, so the fact that, well, the one thing I noticed in this is the first paragraph. It kind of, at the beginning, it seemed like the paragraphs didn't really, they were kind of disjointed. They didn't really flow together as well. You got better towards later in the essay.
Okay.
But anyway, I also, in this part, I don't know if this was just me reading it wrong, or here you say the fact that the article has been reused shows it as an example of an opinion that has been accessed by many, but then you say it was a specific audience. It was not published in a highly frequented area, so it was assigned for a specific audience. I don't know if that's just me reading it wrong or if that kind of contradicts.
I guess the way that I wrote it contradicts. In my head, what I was trying to get at was the fact that it had been cited by others as an important article, but it hadn't been cited to somewhere like a Forbes kind of a thing.
Oh, so you're saying like it was like the people
it was meant for received it well.
The people who like would be knowledgeable about this type of thing?
Right.
Okay,
that's what I was
sense.
going for,
Right.
as opposed to like it's on a Facebook or something like that where it's just a bunch of people are looking at
I
it.
see what you mean. Well, I think it would be better to make that a little more clear.
Mm-hmm.
And then, let's see. I mean, you did a good job of describing the different audiences and how they, I guess, how this article would relate to them. Okay. All right. I feel like I'm reading. I didn't even read this in the first place.
It's okay. It's definitely
Yeah,
Friday.
I need this break badly. Anyway, so I mean, here you start about the actual debate itself, like the wind turbines versus the condor, and how that it's sort of like where you say right here, green individuals Achilles heel, how it's sort of a like.
Well, you can't. That doesn't feel like there's a distinct right or wrong.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that was pretty interesting. How, like it can like a person who would be in favor of like an environmentalist, he would be kind of like I don't know, should I go this way or that way?
Right. Do I think about saving
pretty interesting
species or the green energy that we need?
And then here you start to talk about the like a real life example about how this wait, is the debate directly related to this Kern County?
The debate ranges. The debates like in Spain, the debates in California, the debates in Arizona with any type of birds of prey and wind turbines. But the Kern County is what the STEI was writing about, and it was more of like a PSA style of an article. It was like, this is what's happening, this is why we don't want you to. I
probably should have read that first part. Okay. Anyway. Well, here you use good examples of how they use emotional appeals and how they're basically pathos to get a response from the reader and to get them to like, I guess, feel sympathy for the condors and I like the evoking images of dead birds, like stuff like that.
Yeah, they have like actual pictures of dead birds that they show you on the article.
That's definitely you probably should have mentioned that they have pictures of birds.
I think I may have mentioned it once, but I could probably.
I mean, because that is definitely a emotional appeal.
Yeah.
But then you show how while they I thought this part was good, how you show how they use emotional appeals, but they don't use logical appeals, and that causes them to lose their credibility as a authority on the subject of this debate. So I thought that was good. Like, it's not designed to be proactive, it's designed to be reactive. And then here you start to use more examples and of the appeals, and I think these paragraphs start to, compared to the beginning, they start to transition and flow better between them. So yeah, it's not as jumping around, or there we go. And then yeah, you here again you talk about how they lose their authority as a stakeholders. And then here was good analysis of how the stakeholders are affected by this issue, and how I mean, you bring up tax. Like, you wouldn't really think of much of taxpayers in this argument, but they are brought in.
And like the whole California condor thing, like in the past essays I've talked about this more, but like they were down 20 birds, and so they spent a lot of money recouping them.
Yeah.
And so that's where the taxpayer dollar is.
Yeah. So anyway, where were we? Well, I like this. Condors are voiceless stakeholders, meaning they require representation. Because I mean, yeah, they are affected by it, and we shouldn't forget them in this. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but sometimes we get caught up in our own arguments. And,
right.
And then at the end, you get tying back to the whole like debate that an environmentalist would have, and
right.
Yeah, so I overall I thought it was pretty good. You definitely got stronger as you went along. So
I definitely agree.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So I will pause the video, or stop it, I guess.